folks. Dave from Nerdarchy, for nerds, by nerds. And today I grabbed Jason from RealmSmith as a last minute ditch effort. Thanks a lot for coming on short notice. I appreciate it.
No problem. Just as long as you guys are okay with the shoddy camera and mic
We've
setup.
had better, we've had worse, so it's, you're definitely right in the middle. Perfect.
Fair enough.
We're doing it live anyway. That's like the excuse for everything, I think.
Right?
So, we were actually just talking, when I was getting ready to do the live chat that I'm supposed to have going on today, because we're scheduling for Origins, because you're doing something a little different from Origins.
Yeah, we are. Really excited, actually. We just announced last week that we're hosting a paint and take sponsored by WizKids in the Vallejo booth on the show floor. Which is really, really exciting. And there's a couple new things that I can announce today, actually. You're all hearing it first right here. Uh,
Nerdarchy exclusive.
do you have like a bumper? Exclusive.
It's literally just us going Nerdarchy exclusive, exclusive, exclusive.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So the first thing is that I know beholders are really hard to get a hold of. WizKids is shipping us 200 of them for the show. And we're going to be painting. We're going to be holding master classes, pretty much two per day, where people basically go to the WizKids booth, they buy a ticket for the Beholder Masterclass, then they come to the Vallejo booth and they exchange that ticket for an actual Beholder Mini from the Nolzur's Marvelous Miniature line from D&D, and then we teach them how to paint it in a 2-hour window. So that's the first thing. The other thing is we're holding technique classes. So those are 1-hour classes where you get a WizKids Mini. It's a D&D Nolzur's Mini. Bring it over and we'll teach you how to paint a specific technique. There's a green skin class. There's a painting faces class. And so that's another thing, as well as kind of a drop-in. So any minis you bought at the show or any minis you happen to have that are WizKids, you can bring them by kind of in the middle of the day during a certain kind of drop-in time, and I'll be kind of walking around and floating to help with some tips and just kind of paint together, which is a lot of fun. But the exclusive is some of the guests that we are featuring. And this announcement is going out in the next day or so. And so you guys are hearing it here first. First off, David from Nerdarchy is going to be joining us for one of our sessions. We're just closing in on a time here, but Dave, thanks so much, bud, for joining us.
Oh, it'll be fun. I had like one what was I had one thing that had to confirm before I agreed to do this, that I don't
Yeah.
have to actually paint well.
And that's fine. No, totally. I mean, that's what it's all about, right? It's all about step by step, literally from a blank mini to something pretty awesome for the table. So it's exciting I'm really excited to have you aboard for one of them for sure.
Oh yeah, it should be fun.
And then some of the other guests that we literally just confirmed. We have Satine Phoenix from Maze Arcana, who's going to be joining us, which is really exciting. DM Scotty from DMsCraft, Vanessa Muse from the Crafting Muse, Richard Ankney from Painting Happy Little Minis and Game Trade Media. And I have one more that totally just blanked on.
No.
No, that's all of them that we have confirmed so far. So
Nice.
very, very exciting. Some real fun folks, and they're basically going to sit beside me. We're going to co-host, and then we're going to try and live stream from the floor, hoping that internet sorts itself out at the show.
I have some stories about that.
Yeah, I bet.
So that doesn't. So, and did you look into pricing for internet on the floor?
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's extortion. I'm like, I am in the wrong business. I don't know what I was. I don't know what I was thinking. I'm doing things wrong.
100%. We're actually, I guess, because Vallejo is a sponsor, we get sponsor internet, which tends to be better, and obviously less people on it because it's open only to sponsors. So hopefully that'll do. And if not, we'll record it locally and then we'll post it.
So you are getting internet though.
Oh, we are getting internet. Yeah, we are getting internet that's not just the like public Wi-Fi that everybody gets.
Yeah.
We are getting internet that's slightly better, I think, than that. But yeah, I know it's not even an Origins thing. I think they use an external provider for that, and they just Yeah, it's really expensive. So.
Yeah, it's usually through the venue, I believe.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
we had looked into it for Gen Con, right?
Yeah.
And it was literally $1,000 an hour for
Oh,
like
jeez.
crappy internet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not even like particularly good internet.
Yeah. I know, it's nuts.
So yeah,
That's nuts.
that's insane. It's like I said, definitely in the wrong business. Although we did learn like a hack
Yeah.
to kind of like get around it. Like there's this like pack you can buy and you can hook it up to your internet provider, right?
Yeah.
And it acts like a hotspot, but it's a lot stronger than that.
Yeah.
And so that is something we looked at like going forward into the future to try. And we ended up using one at Gen Con, or the people we were working with ended up using one at Gen Con, and it did work. But I think it's one of those things that really just depends on where you're located in the building, and how much the structure is going to be blocking the signal. I've
Yeah.
even
100%.
heard, I cannot confirm or deny this, but I've heard that companies will use like a scrambler to
Huh.
prevent people from trying to use outside internet for these kinds of
Jeez.
things.
That's nuts.
And you know what? I kind of believe it when you look at how much they charge, because it's like ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
So what are you guys doing at Origins? Anything specific?
we are going to be there. I think that's the gist of it.
Yeah.
It's actually just going to be me at Origins this time
Cool.
around. The other guys have jobs, so it's like they're constantly trying to balance their work schedules and getting time off. Or Ted has a job, and Nate's a stay-at-home dad
Yeah.
with like 50 kids. So it's hard when you leave the shoe to have someone there to take care of it. And I just think it's funny because when they're not here, they can't correct me, and I can say all kinds of outlandish stuff.
That's great. Yeah,
they,
it's
would,
awesome.
they would be like, "No, I really only have 5 kids," but he's not here to say it. So
Yeah, totally. That's amazing.
yeah.
That is so great.
So while we've been talking here, I've been
Well,
putting your links in the description so people can check you out, find your
cool.
channel,
Right on.
and you guys do really great work, high production over there. It's
Thanks, man.
very very impressive. It's kind of it's interesting because we've been around on YouTube for a while now.
Mhm.
To see like everyone that's coming after us, I'm like, oh man, they're so much better. Like all their production is so much slicker, and they look like they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
It's good though because it like forces us to like speed up how fast we would upgrade stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think it's just it comes to kind of like background.
Mhm.
My kind of the people that are kind of make up our team, right? And everybody has their strengths and things that they need to learn. We all come from kind of like video game, graphic design, and production backgrounds, so it's just kind of like second nature, I guess, in some ways, right?
I come from a background of building roads, and
Yeah.
surprisingly, there isn't a lot of crossover between YouTubing and road construction. Who knew?
Diligence. Diligence is definitely a transferable skill.
I'm just stubborn or too stupid to quit. Like they're my hallmarks.
Hey, those are important skills to have as a YouTuber, that's for sure.
Yeah,
That's for
sometimes.
sure. That's
So
awesome.
you guys are going somewhere today, right? You said you're packing.
Yeah, so we're going to ACD Game Fair. It's a retail show in Wisconsin, and we're doing the same thing there. But it's just for retailers or people who own stores or whatever the case may be. And I'm repping the Vallejo booth, and so I'm helping them run the booth as well as holding a WizKids patent take there from Beholders as well.
Oh, okay. You
Yeah.
you you guys got in with them pretty fast. That's impressive.
Yeah, we did. It's pretty great. I mean, WizKids was awesome. And Justin and Sarah from WizKids have been really, really cooperative and supportive of kind of what we do. And right away, because of that relationship, they had a relationship with Vallejo because Vallejo, um, uh, it's their primer that primes all their unpainted minis. And so right away we got in with Vallejo, and it was just like from there on it was off to the races. And so now we're doing I'm just about to post, hopefully today, part 3 of our Beholder How to Paint a Beholder series, which is like kind of like our first partnered tutorial series with Vallejo and WizKids, which is really exciting. So, but they've been great.
I'm reading the chats, and guys and gals, if you have questions, just put question in front. I'll grab it. During the early part, if you had any questions, I completely missed them because I was rearranging the description a little bit. Carbon Fortress. Oh boy, can't wait to see Dave paint a mini. I'm predicting base colors and a drip in someone is if someone is guiding him.
It's gonna be great. We'll have
There's
some extra paper towel on hand just in case.
There's gonna be more paint on me than the mini. I can almost guarantee it. I'm like, you're gonna look down and be like, you literally have completely colored all of your fingers, and there is no paint on that mini. How could you? I would have thought by accident you would have gotten some on there.
Finger painting is an actual technique for minis. We can explore that. That's for sure.
It may happen.
Yeah.
I have the missus with me, so maybe I'll have her do some painting as well.
Oh, that'd be great. That'd be great.
She's not a gamer, but she might get into the actual painting aspect.
Totally.
She's got some nerve damage, so she needs some therapy anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, be like, here's physical therapy for you. Here's a box of minis. Make them pretty.
Hey, it's my happy place. That's for sure. There's something about kind of shutting yourself in my basement and getting to my painting, for sure. Something therapeutic about it.
Can I airbrush paint them? I think that might be the way to go.
We're not doing airbrush this, although next year we talked about it. We talked about bringing Vallejo airbrush paints and actually doing some airbrush things. So that'd be great.
So do you play any war games?
Yeah, I do. I play, well, I mean, if you would call Warhammer 40K a war game.
To me, it is. Like, I'm not like, I don't know, like the hardcore real war gamers what they call, but to me that would definitely qualify.
Yeah, so you'll see behind me, you'll see all the Warhammer stuff and all the boxes. I was huge into Warhammer for many years. Got a number of armies, and then it's taken a bit of a backseat now that D&D's kind of taken a big role, even professionally for me. So I'm not into it as much as I used to be, but I play with my buddies every once in a while and I try and dig in. So I love it.
Several armies. Are you independently wealthy? I hear that's really expensive.
It's been over the last decade, and it's not a cheap hobby. It is absolutely. You think D&D is an expensive hobby? It doesn't have to be, right? D&D doesn't have to be, but Warhammer has to be. If you want to win.
I remember when my brother was in college and was starting to get into it and wanted to field a Skaven army, and he was like tallying it up, and it's like $300.
It's crazy.
And it's like, so, and really too, like depending on where you're at, like you're kind of stuck. Like that is your army unless you have a lot of discretionary income.
Yeah.
You won't be changing around. So Mark Bird has a question. What are the best cons focused on D&D? Is it worth it to make a long trip to one? Origins is actually a really good one for D&D. Surprisingly, Gen Con's not that great for D&D as much as it used to be. And I know like I think like some of the smaller cons like Gary Con and Gamehole Con, like there's a lot of games going on. Also North Texas RPG as well. And like North Texas I heard is a really great con if you like want to go and play with the designers. Now it might be not necessarily be specifically D&D, but you'll be able to play a lot of different tabletop games for sure, and I'm sure some of them have to be different incarnations of D&D. I know you guys have been actually hitting quite a few shows, but you've been doing like trade shows and stuff too, right?
Yeah, we've mostly hit retail shows lately. We went to the Gamma retail show in Reno, and that was just to fill our crate, and so to find product to go into our monthly crate that we're launching in June. But just to do some business stuff and meet with WizKids and Vallejo and all that kind of stuff. That was kind of our first face-to-face meeting with those guys. Next year we'll be hitting a lot more consumer cons for sure. Origins is the only one this year. like customer facing shows, but we're really excited about it.
Yeah, Origins is a lot of fun. And of the conventions I've been to, they seem to have the largest uh, D&D presence. So last that not let me preface that I haven't been to a lot of conventions, and last year I really just started going to conventions. But
Yeah.
of the ones I've been to, that one seemed to have the most D&D going on. Like they had a huge section dedicated for it. They had Maze Arcana streaming a game from there.
Yeah.
They had the D&D team was there playing Betrayer House on the Hill with the Baldur's Gate edition with the Maze Arcana cast as well. So they definitely had some cool things going on. Elf
Yeah, I
Paint,
know. Yeah, I know Maze Arcana is there this year, I believe, again.
yes, they will
And,
be
and I
there.
know too. I've heard that, and I don't know a lot about shows. Like I'm new to the whole show circuit and the D&D world, so I'm excited about it. I used to go to San Diego all the time for when I was in kind of comic books and video games, but and I've been in all the video game shows, E3 and stuff. But I'm new to the kind of the gaming shows, and I hear that Origins is kind of a bit more relaxed than Gen Con. It's a bit smaller, and so it's still intimate and fun, and it's not as kind of crazy.
Yeah, I would use the term small loosely.
Yeah.
Like so last year was the first time I really started going to conventions. Like when we first started Nerdarchy, there was a smaller game con, Philly Game Con, which I thought was pretty decent. It wasn't a bad size, but they didn't go past. I don't think they went past a first show. But then I went to Origins, I went to Gen Con, I went to PAX Unplugged, and when I went to PAX Unplugged, I was a little disappointed because that actually could fit into Origins or Gen Con several times over.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. Now I
Hmm.
know, like everyone's like, "Well, it's the first year. It's the first year." I'm like, if you run they run packs like 5, 6 times a year, and they've been doing
Yeah.
it for a while.
Yeah.
At a certain point, I don't really think you get to say it's the first year anymore.
Yeah. No.
From the production side of things, like you guys know what you're doing at this point. I
Yeah.
would say,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. For sure.
and so yeah, so that was pretty small in comparison. But Origins was still huge. I mean, it was spread out over several hotels, and I guess the was at the convention center over there.
Yeah.
So I thought it was pretty big. I mean, it was smaller than Gen Con, but I don't know that it was like vastly smaller than Gen Con.
Cool. Well, it's good. Yeah, I'm super stoked. Like I'll be in the Vallejo booth. Like we're doing literally 3 or 4 sessions a day. I'm sure I'll have carpal tunnel by the end of the weekend if I don't already.
Uh,
But I'm super pumped. Really
well,
excited.
and you said you're launching a crate next month.
Yeah. So we're orders are live on our site now at RealmSmith.tv. Basically, we love teaching people how to do stuff, but we thought, hey, how cool would it be to actually ship what we're teaching people to do to their doorstep? And so we ship an encounter crate and a layer crate. One's about $40 US, the other is about $100 US. And we have encounters that are written by Absolute Tabletop in them, and the good people there. Um, and it'll include like a mini. You can get like an add-on paint pack, so you can paint your minis if you're into that. But uh, we didn't want to, I guess, negate or leave out the people who weren't interested in painting and just kind of wanted the encounter. So we made sure that the hobby pack was kind of an add-on, and then you get like papercraft terrain and some other scatter terrain, and like scented candles that smell like dungeons or whatever the case may be, and just some fun music. We've partnered now with Sirenscape on our live stream as well as our crate, so they'll be sending like a downloadable code for your encounter. So it's exciting for us, really exciting.
Yeah, so as someone had asked a few minutes ago, what's being launched in June? But that's what's being launched in June. That's the box.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's definitely cool. You guys have been working on that for a little while too.
Yeah, we have. We've basically been in pre-orders for like a month or so. We just want to kind of gain interest, and people are super excited about it. So, and the cool thing actually is at Origins during our paint and takes, Absolute Tabletop is putting together a one-page encounter that we'll be giving away for free after each kind of paint and take. So that's exciting too.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
It'd be cool if those guys came out and ran it.
Oh, wouldn't it be?
They're too busy. They only do their own con.
Ah, man, they're so cool. Tim's a good guy, man. He's a really, really solid dude.
Yeah, Tim,
Um,
James, all those guys.
yeah, they've been super supportive with this whole thing, and they just want to be involved, and it's just great to work with good people.
Yeah, I think we've had most of them on the show at one point or another,
Yeah,
a couple times over now.
yeah, their stuff's beautiful, man. They really know what they're doing.
Yes, they've definitely put together good stuff. They built great communities, and they're also a bunch of decent guys. That always helps too.
Yeah, like just a good guy. Like I haven't dealt with James much. Is it James? It's James, right? Um,
Yeah, James is the other brother. Yep.
yeah, I haven't dealt with or spoken to him a lot. I've spoken to Tim a lot, almost daily lately, and yeah, he's just a salt of the earth kind of guy, man. Just a cool guy that just wants everybody to do well, and
Yeah, and then Matt and Barker are great guys too. So
yeah, yeah, I can't wait to meet the whole crew.
so Zareth Gaiman wants to know, where is North Texas Con? Dallas? I have no idea. My guess it's in Texas to the north somewheres.
I'd say that's a good bet.
Yeah, yeah. But both Chris from Nord Games and Zach Glazer from Frog God Games and Bill Webb from Frog God Games, all those guys are like, this is the con you got to go to. It's actually one of the few that they all go to as well. So which is also something that I find interesting. Like they,
Hmm.
if you look, and that's why I named some of the cons I did. Like you're going to get the biggest presence from some of those companies at like Gamehole Con and Gary Con, and they're
Yeah,
really starting to pull back from Gen Con and some of the other big ones.
yeah,
And my speculation is that because there probably just isn't enough D&D focus on those, and they're
yeah,
moving in other directions.
yeah.
So this is your first con. You said facing out the retail side. That's got to be exciting for you.
Oh, very much so. It was kind of cool because we wanted to get a booth. We landed some investment, which was great, and so we were able to do some things. But then wondered if we wanted to get a booth and how we would do that. And we kind of reached out to Vallejo and we are like, hey, do you want to split a booth? And then they came back and said, actually, no, we're just going to grab a huge booth and just come host and help us, and we can all do this together. And it was just really cool. So, um, yeah, super excited, man. Like, I cannot wait. We're driving out, actually. It's only like 6 hours for us from Canada. Um,
That's not bad.
Hop, skip, and a jump across the border. So that way we can bring a lot of the stuff with us. And it's gonna be cool, man. Can't wait.
Wow, that's like the drive that I have as well.
To get there, yeah, that's
Yeah,
not too bad. Where are
yeah.
you
I'm
again?
in New Jersey,
New Jersey. That's right.
so we just had west.
Yeah, I think Vanessa from the Crafting Muse is in New Jersey too, but I
She's
think
up
she's
in
gonna
North
fly
Jersey.
out. Yeah,
She's in like Northwest Jersey, which is
yeah,
like up past New York City.
yeah. Who's
So
closer for you guys?
what's closer for us?
Yeah, like who's closer to Origins? I
Uh,
guess.
I think we might be a little bit, but with an
Yeah,
airplane, she's cheating for sure.
yeah, of course. I think she said she's flying. I'm pretty
I,
sure she said it. She
yeah,
might
I
be
think
flying,
she
but I'm not sure.
did. She did as well.
Yeah, yeah, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be
Yeah,
fun to paint with her as well. It's cool, man, because like to be able to like I've been talking to you guys and to Scotty and to Vanessa for even Richard, who I met at Gamma, but all these guys have been talking to you guys for months, and to be able to actually meet in person and go for drinks and paint minis together, it's pretty surreal
yeah.
to kind of bring it all together.
I feel like I con wrong because I've built so many relationships online. So by the time I get to the con, like it's just a backdrop to the place where I'm gonna go, like to hang out and meet up with people
Yeah,
I've been talking to online. I rarely sign up for games, and like I'll just pop into one or two here or there, or
yeah,
do like impromptu stuff.
yeah,
But and plus, like you're when you go or when I go, it's work too.
totally.
You're there to kind of hustle and
Yeah,
rub elbows and all that good stuff.
yeah.
So Mark, I'm only 8.7 hours from Origins. Is it worth the drive? Oh, it really depends on what you value. I mean, if you want to go and game for 4 or 5 days with people you may or may not know, then yeah, it's a great time. And there's tons of stuff going on. So I don't know. I don't know what you like, but this is our second time going. We're gonna do Gen Con again, so I really enjoyed them. It was a lot of fun. Zareth Gaiman wants to know: is there a such thing as Underdark scented candles?
So the candles that we will be including in our boxes are from Cantrip Candles, fun little company in LA. And they don't have an Underdark one, but they do have a dungeon one. Their candles are pretty great. I mean, it's hard, right? Because I was talking to the owner, and he was saying, there's some people don't want, their living room to smell like a dungeon for like a week. So, there's a balance between like making it a nice scent and making it actually smell the way it's supposed to smell and all this kind of stuff. So, but they make some pretty great stuff. But I should definitely talk to them about making an Underdark candle. That'd be great.
There was another company that had sent us stuff. It was like Dungeon Sense or something like that. They did have candles, but they also had like these little bags or these beads that you would put out, so the scents were like reusable.
Yeah.
But I didn't feel like they were particularly. I don't remember them being particularly strong enough, so you'd actually have to
Yeah.
like smell it.
Yeah. Pass it
So
around. Yeah.
yeah, which that's kind of weird in itself. But say, smell this, smell my
Yes.
finger.
Close your eyes. Smell this. Yeah.
It's funny though to see where gaming's going and then kind of like
Totally.
the stuff that's like popped up around it.
Yeah. Totally. Um. Oh gosh, I totally forget the name of it. But Wheel of Can we oh what's it called? There's a candle company, Calliope Candles, I think, but they do a Wheel of Dungeons or oh geez, I'm horrible. But anyways, they have a whole line of scents that are really good too.
But it's always interesting to see like that kind of stuff. It's like I know there's enough of a demand because like you start when you take a niche and you start really like splicing down into sub niches,
Yeah, totally.
the
Yeah,
scent
crazy.
category.
Wheel of Flame by Calliope Candleworks. That's what it's called, and they have a bunch of really cool, yeah,
Yeah,
really cool scents.
nasty swamp.
Yeah, yeah, Dank
Dead
Dungeon,
monster.
you Dead Monster. That's a good one.
3-day-old orc. I think I would just have fun with the like naming candles.
Oh, totally. That's great. That's great. Are you playing any games at Origins? Like, are you actually doing any gaming?
I will. I just don't know what that's going to look like yet.
Right.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna. I just kind of fly by the seat of my pants with that
Right.
stuff
Yeah.
and figure it out where I go. Really, the big part is like kind of like coasting through the day and saving up your reserves for the evening. When
Yeah.
I'm when my liver is going to get a workout.
Yeah. Totally.
It's,
I I know DM Scotty's hosting a game. I it's too bad that I'm not gonna be able to play it just because of all the busyness and the painting that I'll be doing. But yeah, there's a lot of fun to be had for sure.
well, yeah, and that's the other thing for like you. You're probably going to be tied to a booth for the whole time, pretty much.
Yeah, pretty
How
much.
how big is your crew?
It's so there's just two of us from RealmSmith coming, myself and Joel Oge, who plays in our game and is our producer. And then Vallejo, I think only one person's coming. I think just
Okay.
Alex Vallejo, the CEO, who's a great guy, is coming to kind of run the rest of the booth. So it's not much, but then I think they have some Origin staff that are coming to help us run the booth as well.
Okay.
So that's gonna be good.
So the important thing is you will get pee breaks. So
Yes, yes, there will be. This week, I don't know if I will be. I'm the only person at ACD in the Vallejo booth, I think,
oh no.
for the next 3 days. So I'm gonna have to make some friends and have them watch our booth.
Yeah, you're gonna be grabbing strangers. Hey, blah blah blah.
Yeah,
Want to stand here for 15 minutes? You
yeah,
don't
yeah.
have to do
Don't tell
anything.
Alex I'm gonna be giving away free paint for in exchange for pee breaks. Yeah,
Yeah. Hey, when you gotta go, you gotta go. You get desperate.
right.
That's a thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So, people will ask us sometimes, "Are you in a booth?" I'm like, "For what? What are we gonna do in a booth?"
yeah,
Like, I mean, even now we're kind of getting into product and selling things, but it's still
yeah,
digital stuff. It's on our website. I'm like,
yeah.
what are we gonna do? Set up laptops and say, "Watch our videos"? That would be weird. That would wig me out watching people watch our videos.
That's hilarious.
Like, or then we could film them watching our videos, and then we can do reaction videos. That I don't know if that's a thing for D&D videos or not.
Yeah, how deep down the rabbit hole can we go?
Yeah, it'll be like video inception.
That's great.
Yeah, it was cool to hear DM Scotty is going.
Yeah, yeah, really cool. And he's running two games. I don't know if there are any spots available, but it's gonna be great just to have a beer with him, man. That guy's a pioneer, dude.
Yeah,
He's something else, that guy.
he was one of the early days for crafting especially.
Yeah, yeah, very cool.
So, Cardboard Fortress has a question. I recently found out about a cool tabletop war game called Gasland that uses kit bashed Hot Wheels or whatever for minis. Any advice for painting on that sort of surface?
Ooh, actually, yes, I do. And I'm not just pushing this because it's Vallejo, but Vallejo has a mecha line. Um, and that specific line is designed to paint like Gundam, where there are moving parts in the joints, and it's magic. Apparently, I haven't used it personally. I have it on my wall here, but apparently, it's really great with like moving parts and stuff. And so, yeah, definitely prime it. You're gonna need a decent primer for that sort of surface, especially if it's like a glossy metallic surface. But yeah, that mecha line is really cool. But you're going to want some pretty solid paints so that they don't chip. Something with a really good sheen on it.
Or you can do the Dave Fry method and just dip it in a can of paint.
You could finger paint.
Yeah, absolutely, finger paint. Nerdpocalypse question. I have an
Yeah.
in-depth question. What is the best way to pose it to Nerdarchy? You send it over to Gmail, the Nerdarchy at Gmail, and we will try and get to it. Um, for sure. We do get a lot of emails though. So and it also depends on the nature of the question. Sometimes I'll get questions on like Facebook on the page and are like, what's asking like rules questions, and I'm like, I don't know, I don't have my book with me. Look it up. I want to give the non-PC Jeremy Crawford answer,
Yeah, right.
like the answers that he gives when you know he's just heard that question too many times and he just wants to say, "God damn it, read the freaking book. It means what it says. That's exactly what it means. Why are you asking me this?"
That's good.
But as part of his job, I suppose he can't say that.
Yeah, I don't think. I think there's probably a set of guidelines that he has to follow.
Yeah, yeah. One day
That's
we'll have
hilarious.
guidelines too, but until now it's like the Wild Wild West.
That's awesome.
Yeah. No, and if you guys ask questions or try to reach out to us and we do not get back to you, don't take it personal. We get information that comes in from so many different streams, and we might look at something on one device and start doing something else and forget about it. And that happens all the time,
Yeah.
especially on things like Facebook messages because they go away so fast. Like, if we get 10 today and yours was the first one,
Yeah.
well, we know I'm no longer seeing your question, and maybe I was busy and I didn't have a chance to get to it at the time. So
Yeah.
it's not personal, folks. The well, I used to comment on every single comment on our YouTube channel with the videos, up until somewhere between I think the like 15 to 20,000 subs mark, and then it was just like it's too much. It becomes overwhelming. You just go over there, and I just want to hide under my desk. I'm like, I
I
can't
can't even
answer you
imagine,
all. I
man.
can't answer you all.
Can't even imagine what that's like.
You will. You'll be there eventually. I mean, you guys just got started, right?
Yeah, we've only been at it about a year or so.
How many subs are you guys up to now?
3,200
Yeah,
on
please.
YouTube.
You know how long it took us to
Yeah.
get there? Like now we look at all these other channels coming up, and they're like they've been here for a year or two, and they've got like 3,000, 10,000 subs. I'm like, it took us like 2 years to get that. The first 6 months, it was like crickets.
Yeah. No, it's because of you folks, man. You guys blazed the trail. There's no doubt. There's no doubt.
Well, there's definitely a couple people out there. DMG Info, DM Scotty, DFC. All those folks were really blazing the trail. There's nothing going on.
Yeah, the OGs.
And then I think we came along and changed up the format a little bit.
Yeah.
And then it's like everything. Like once somebody else does something different and pushes it a little bit further,
Yeah.
other people kind of will keep doing the same thing.
Yeah, we just kind of keep adding to it, eh?
Exactly.
That's great. It's very cool.
Cardboard Fortress. I think you mentioned papercraft before. Can you tell us how you utilize papercraft and what resources you use?
Yeah. So I guess it was a couple sessions into our Storm King's Thunder campaign. Or not even that, sorry. As soon as we started the Storm King's Thunder campaign, I actually took like a month off my stream Maybe it was even longer than that. Maybe it was even 2 months, because we needed terrain for the tabletop, and crafting it from foam was just going to take way too long. So I just dug deep into Fat Dragon Games terrain and Dave Graffam terrain, and built a whole bunch of stuff that you can see kind of on our channel in our live streams. But yeah, Fat Dragon Games has awesome papercraft stuff. Dave It's davegames.net, I believe. They have some really great papercraft terrain. Basically, you just print it out on cardstock, 80 to 100 pound, and then we also have a tutorial on our channel about kind of taking your papercraft to the next level, and adding foam core to kind of strengthen it to make it more of a kind of permanent thing. But yeah, we've done tons of it, and it's great because it's quick, and it looks decent on the tabletop too.
Which I mean, that's definitely a big thing for people. Something, convenience costs sometimes. I know for me, like one of the things that actually made our group switch to using minis was when they came out with pre-painted plastic minis, just because it was easier, they were less expensive. So you can kind of extrapolate from there. Even more so with pawns and things like that as well.
Oh, 100%. 100%. I mean, the unpainted medians are great for those that paint, but the whole line of painted medias is pretty awesome. Um, and then just paint, and basically what I've been doing lately is just painting, like, well, stuff for our tutorials, sure, but just for our personal games or for our live stream, like showcase minis, whether it be like an enemy, or I just ordered a Hero Forge. I started PCing in our second live stream, like a couple weeks ago, and so I ordered a Dragonborn monk mini for myself from Hero Forge, which I have to paint in the next week or so. But yeah, it's great that we have options for kind of every type of player.
Yeah, Ted loves Hero Forge. I think he's got stock in there or something. But and like now he has it and it's set up, and thankfully there's no credit cards attached to his account or anything, because his kids go over there and play with Hero Forge all the time and just make up like tons of minis.
Yeah, it's so much fun. It's so cool. It's such a cool concept.
Let's see. We got Mark Bird. So when it comes to painting minis, how long on average do you spend painting one with moderate detail?
Yeah. So we started doing. I haven't done one in a little while, but we started doing live kind of painting challenges where we would paint a mini in 2 hours, and that was fairly detailed, all the way from base coating to highlights. So and detail work. So I think 2 hours is a reasonable amount of time. It all depends on your experience and kind of your attention to detail and how much of a perfectionist you are. But you can get paint on a mini fairly quickly.
Especially if you use my method.
Yeah, exactly.
But and I guess to like speed challenges, like it's totally a thing in the mini realms, right?
Oh, totally, totally. And batch painting too. So we also did a bunch where we batch paint multiple minis of the same type. So if you have a bunch of guards with the same armor and same clothing and stuff, then it's a lot easier if you kind of paint all the colors, all the similar colors across both models. And so by the end, you've saved all that kind of paint changing time.
Do you do like the swap out hands with magnets and stuff?
I did for Warhammer. I absolutely do. When you're spending $60 on a mini or whatever it is, then you're absolutely doing that to get the most of it. For D&D, I don't.
Yeah, I imagine not. So I don't know. Is that a tactic like for playing in tournaments? Like you show up with your army and they have one hand on, one set of hands, and then you switch them on. It's like surprise, suckers!
Yeah, that's frowned upon.
Oh.
But it is great when you have an expensive mini that has multiple weapon options and you're constantly changing it out. So rather than buying a whole other mini, with those with the different options, then it's easier to kind of swap it out. But you can go kind of too crazy. Like I went too crazy, and so now I'm spending like 10 minutes per mini just building them because I'm putting arms and legs and heads on them.
Oh,
Like,
nice.
that was maybe too much.
You just have to have the jar of magnetic bits, and you just dip them and see what you get.
Yeah, totally, totally.
Chaos magic. James Leslie, I have several pewter infinity models to paint. I have not a lot of luck with paints going on smoothly in the past. Do you have any tips for painting pewter models?
Yeah. really important step is your priming step. So get a decent primer, otherwise paint isn't going to adhere to that. I've always had issues with chipping, and so any metal models that I've had in the past have always that paint always chips off. What I am finding right now, though, or what I'm hearing, is that if you do a gloss coat for a finish first and then do a matte coat after that, then it's a much stronger bond and a much kind of, I guess, stronger finish. So you don't get as much chipping for metal models. I don't paint a lot of metal models. I haven't painted them since, geez, I can't even remember.
Sounds like there's a reason for that.
Yeah, well, kind of, right? I mean, they're a little unruly. They're hard to prep. You need files and all that kind of stuff. Plastic's just a lot easier to work with for me. But
I imagine it's cheaper too, right?
Yeah, it is cheaper. Yeah.
Yeah,
I know Reaper still carries them, but they're kind of more of like the Renaissance kind of special sort of thing, right?
Is there a part of the hobby that they kind of like look down on the plastic minis?
A little bit.
Like you're not a real mini painter.
There's definitely like the old schoolers who stick to metal and they won't do anything else. And I get the weight and all of that kind of stuff, but
my dad was a jeweler, and he learned from all the old school guys, and then later on he learned to work instead of in metal but in wax to create the molds, and you could do so much more, and it was so much cheaper and more cost effective and faster, and to do it. But and then when he ran into like his original mentors, they're like, what's this? What is this crap? What are you doing? You're besmirching the craft.
Yeah, I know. There's definitely the elitists, I guess.
Yeah, and probably in every industry. So Brian Smith, is there any level of 40K play that disallows unpainted minis in tournament play? Can you use an unpainted army? Would that be super weird?
So different as far as Warhammer goes, there are definite tournaments that have like 3 color minimum kind of color rules around it. Some tournaments don't care at all. I guess it really depends on the event.
That's funny. I'm sure, and I'm sure there might be snarky comments. The ridicule is going to be the biggest barrier.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
So this one's gonna be short, only because we started late. I really appreciate you jumping on last minute, Jason, and chatting with me.
Thanks.
We got to keep the ball rolling. I apologize, chat, for being late today. And hopefully everything is okay with our original guests, and we'll get that all sorted and figured out, and probably try and get them back on at another date. So, real quick, where should people follow you? What should they check out?
Yeah, you can check out our crate and how to become a member of the Realm at RealmSmith.tv, and then every Monday at 7:30 we run either a Horde of the Dragon Queen or Storm King's Thunder live stream on Facebook. And we have this whole cool interactive voting thing where you can vote to give the players inspiration through the video and stuff. So check that out on Facebook, 7:30s on Mondays. And then our Beholder series, which we just launched, also on YouTube and Facebook. So check us out at those places.
And there should be a bunch of links in the description. And with that, until next time, everyone, stay nerdy.
Thanks, Dave.
Thank you.